Mutiny Wallet is a fully automated Lightning wallet for your mobile device. It is non-custodial, features NOSTR integrations, and is a progressive web app, meaning you get to bypass the App Store. Today we're going to take a look at how to set up and use Mutiny Wallet. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session.
HODL the Bitcoin.
Before we dive in, shout out to sponsors of the show, HodlHodl.com. If you're looking to buy Bitcoin and you would like to prioritize peer-to-peer trading, instant self-custody, and no KYC, this is the place to be. You can sign up with just an email address. Once you're in, choose a currency, payment method, and amount, and you can start stacking sats and viewing orders immediately. They also have a peer-to-peer lending platform in which nothing is ever rehypothecated. You can check them out in the links down below. Of course, when you get your hands on some non-KYC sats, you're going to want to secure it with some of the best hardware on the market, and CoinKite is killing it. Of course, the Cold Card Mark IV is my go-to hardware of choice. I have all their other goodies as well, like tap signers, sats cards, block clocks, open dimes, and I'm very excited for the pre-orders I've made of the Cold Card Q1 and the Sats link. If you want to pre-order those or reserve them or pick up anything else that I mentioned, head over to coinkite.com and you can use code btcsessions for 5% off everything in the store. Now, backups are important as well, and Seedor has you covered with one of the most robust and beautifully designed seed backups on the market. The capsule and steel disc design is hard to beat. It is resilient to the elements, so you can protect your seed phrases from fire, water, and of course, corrosion. And the whole starter set has everything that you need to do either 1 or 2 seeds. And one of the bonuses of the Seedor, well, if you need to replace the seed phrase, you don't need to throw out the whole thing. Just get some new discs for cheap and replace it as you see fit. Links are down below if you want to check them out. Depending on your location, there will be different links for your shipping method of choice. Now, Nunchuk.io has you covered for assisted multi-sig with their Honey Badger program. What is this? Basically, on their mobile application, you can set up a multi-sig quorum with whatever hardware you desire. They have support for things like Tap Signer and Cold Card and a ton of other options. They will walk you through the whole setup. Nunchuk holds one key, you hold the rest, and then you've got your multi-sig on the go. Once set up, all of your sats are set into a inheritance plan, so your next of kin can get your sats should anything happen to you. And on top of it, the whole thing is KYC free, so you don't need to provide private information in order to set this up and have it work for you. Check them out, nunchuk.io. And finally, shout out to Start9, your sovereign computing solution. These guys, they make plug and play devices so that you can host your entire Bitcoin stack and your personal data. So what does this include? You can have things like Bitcoin Core, your Electrum server, Lightning nodes, mempool.space, Join Market. You can also host your files, passwords, photos, NOSTR relays, and clients, you name it, they got it. And they come in very easy to set up plug and play boxes. As I said, they've got everything from entry level all the way up to what I'm running, which is the Start9 Server Pure, which they just discounted by a couple $100. And if you use my code, which is BTC Sessions with a plus sign at the end of it, you can save a further 18%. With that, let's dive into the tutorial. So let's start off this video by talking some prerequisites. What are you going to need to know in order to successfully navigate this tutorial? Well, a little bit of prerequisite knowledge about how to send and receive regular Bitcoin transactions and Lightning transactions would be an asset here. But of course, I will go through as slowly as possible and explain about that in passing as we reach those points. Also, you're going to need to know how to obtain Bitcoin in the first place. So if you are not yet at that point, then maybe take a look back through my catalog and you'll be able to find tons of options there. Other than that, we're pretty much going to go from scratch. We're going to get started with downloading, installing the app, and setting it up from nothing. The only other thing that may be helpful, because we'll be covering it a bit later in the video, is if you are on NOSTR, then we'll show how to integrate that as well. If you're unfamiliar with what NOSTR is, then that will be linked in the show notes as well, so you can get going there. Basically, it's decentralized social media with Bitcoin Lightning integration, very easily added into applications. But nonetheless, if you're not on NOSTR, this will still be just fine for you, and we'll have any subsequent or helpful tutorials in the show notes for anything that we mentioned from here on in. So let's dive in. Let's jump over to the mobile device and get ourselves set up. All right, so I am here on mutinywallet.com, and all you're going to do when you first get here is you're going to hit the button that says Use Mutiny. That's going to take you to a new page, app.mutinywallet.com, and here it's basically going to set up everything for you. Now, in some instances, I previously came to this site and it gave me the option to install this as a progressive web app. If you do not see that, what you can do, and I'm on Android just as a preface, in the top right of your browser, there's usually 3 little dots that gives you a menu. And if I scroll down a little bit, there will be an option that says install app. I believe on iPhone, it should say add to home screen or something along that line. But if I do that, it will install this as an application that is openable just from my main screen. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit install. And now this same wallet will be accessible on my main screen. Now at this point, you can go ahead and close your browser because you're not going to need it anymore. And if you look on your main screen, you'll see a Mutiny app pop out that you can now click on. This will open it up and give you the exact same screen without the browser window. So you won't have the URL bar. It'll just be its own self-contained app, which is nice. And at this point, all you need to do is you need to back up the wallet itself. And you do that much like a regular Bitcoin wallet with a seed phrase. So you can see up top here, secure your funds. There's a backup button. We're going to go ahead. We're going to tap on that. It says, hey, we're going to show you 12 words. We're going to write them down. And you need to make sure you keep these safe. This is the backup to your money. It's like a spare key to your money. And anybody that gets a hold of these 12 words will have full access to your money. So keep that in mind. But this is basically your last line of defense. If you lose your phone, if you delete your browser history, which is basically how this wallet is stored, then you need those 12 words to reaccess it. So nonetheless, you're going to tap to reveal. It's going to show you your 12 words. I would not advise copying this to the clipboard. I would say write this down on paper, or, if you're going to have any meaningful amount of funds, which maybe not the best idea right out the gate because it's still beta at the time of this video, then you want to have this in physical form, not digital. So I prefer physical form for this. Anyways, you're going to write down these words. Then you're going to tick all these boxes, and I wrote down the words, and they say, hey, the last box you check is, I'm not lying just to get this over with. Of course, really do write down these words. I'm going to do that off screen right now. Now at this point, you're going to be presented with the option to add a password to your seed phrase. So it says Mutiny is a hot wallet, so it needs your seed words to operate, but you can optionally encrypt those words with a password. That way, if someone gets access to your browser, they still won't have access to your funds. Now, this is a pretty good idea to do for ease of doing this tutorial. I'm not going to put one in, but this is where you would do that. And you can also change an existing password if you prefer by putting in the existing one and then putting in the new password. So nonetheless, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to hit skipped. And then this takes me to my main screen here where we can begin to actually use the wallet. So let's go through an overview of what we see. So in front of you, you're going to have 2 balances. Up top, there will be balance that is available off-chain or via the Lightning Network. Down below, you're going to have your on-chain balance, so your regular Bitcoin balance that can be sent to regular Bitcoin addresses. When you do have a balance in on-chain, you can actually also swap to Lightning, and there'll be an option for that there. And we'll get into that when we cover that section. Up in the top right, you of course have your QR scanner. So the first time you do that, it'll ask for permission, and then after it'll just automatically open up your camera. Other than that, when you do go into this, you have the option also to paste something. So if you have an invoice that you want to paste, you can do that from this screen. In the top right, there's also your settings. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's Mutiny Plus, which gives you some premium functionality and new features, early access to new features. You can see your Lightning channels. You can go to your backup again. You can restore from a backup. You can change your password, your local currency. If you are running your own servers to back Mutiny, you can do so. That's beyond the scope of this video, but it is there. Wallet connections. This is like NOSTR and stuff like that. And we'll get into that later in the video. And then your emergency toolkit. So that's if something goes wrong, then you can go ahead and basically debug and do all kinds of different things, download the logs and reach out to the Mutiny team for help. If you see fit, that's where you're going to be doing it. Nonetheless, that is your settings there. Also on the main screen, you see a send and receive button. Right now, the send is grayed out because we don't have funds on it yet. The receive is here. You can choose your amount. It gives us details about receiving for the first time. We'll go through that momentarily. And then finally, in activity, this is where your previous transactions will be. And then if you have feedback for the team, right there on the main screen. So that's the lay of the land there. Let's now load up our wallet with some funds. So Mutiny Wallet has a built-in LSP in the background. LSP standing for Lightning Service Provider, which means you don't have to establish your own channels. They will do that for you. So what you can do is you can hit receive, and you can receive your first sats via Lightning without setting up a channel. Again, that will be automated. Now, there is a fee associated with this. It says your first Lightning receive needs to be over 50,000 sats or greater. A setup fee will be deducted from the requested amount, and then it says why, and it can give you details on that. It's a self-custodial wallet. To initiate Lightning payments, we must open a Lightning channel, which requires a minimum amount and a setup fee. Future payments, both send and receive, will only incur normal network fees, Lightning network fees, and a nominal service fee unless your channel runs out of inbound capacity. And then you can tap to learn more about liquidity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up basically a receive for 100,000 sats. And it gives you some options here so that you can kind of just ballpark it, or you can manually enter it with the keys down below, and then you simply hit set amount. This creates an invoice. And so it gives you your summary. You're receiving 100,000 sats, which is around $35. You can add a tag to it if you want to. It's for your own records, but you can hit continue at the bottom. This is going to create a Lightning invoice. Now it says a Lightning setup fee of 10,000 sats will be charged if paid over Lightning. And then it says why, and it'll give you, again, kind of the rundown of how the LSP works. You can also send via on-chain Bitcoin. This is a unified QR code, and some wallets, depending what you're using, will actually, when you scan, ask whether you want to send via Lightning or via on-chain. If you want to change that, well, you can choose format down below, and it allows you to choose Lightning invoice, Bitcoin address, and you can choose remember my choice for next time if you're always going to be using the same. But I'm going to leave it as unified just to kind of show what that looks like. I've got Phoenix Wallet here as well. So this is another mobile Lightning wallet. So I'm just going to hit the send button, which will open up my camera. I'm going to scan what Mutiny has given me. And then here's what it looks like from Phoenix. It asks me, do I want to pay on-chain or with Lightning? So we'll do Lightning for this one. And I'm just going to hit pay. And it should go off momentarily. Okay, there we go. So we can see that we've now successfully sent, and then we've received via Mutiny, and it has deducted the fee to create a Lightning channel, but we received the payment immediately. Okay, so it went through, no problem. So we'll just hit the nice button down at the bottom. Nice. Okay, so we now see 90,000 sats there, and we now have access to Lightning liquidity. Let's try one other way to receive. We're also going to receive on-chain. I'm going to do it from the same wallet. So I'm going to hit receive. We'll send another 100,000 sats. I'll set the amount. Again, I'm not going to add any tags this time. I'll just hit continue. That's going to give me my unified QR code again. And then just again from Phoenix, I'll hit send. I'll do a quick scan. This time I'm going to pay on-chain. I'm going to prepare and pay. So that was sent off. And I can now see that I've received the full 100,000 sats via an on-chain transaction. Again, I'm going to hit the nice button. And so now you can see there's two different balances, 90,000 up top because I received it directly via Lightning with the establishment of a channel. And I can see down below, I have 100,000 that are not yet confirmed, but on-chain and accessible. And there's a little button that will allow me to swap to Lightning if I see fit. And we'll do that momentarily. We'll just wait for it to confirm. Once your on-chain transaction is confirmed, it will look as such. And you'll also, of course, see it down below in your activity section. If you do want to check up on the transaction and see it actually in the mempool and see when it's going to confirm, you can always tap on it in activity. It will let you know the details and the status and everything like that. You can copy the transaction ID and paste it into a block explorer, or you can simply hit the view transaction button. That will open up mempool.space and it will show you where it sits in line. So you can see that this transaction now has two confirmations, but before I was able to see it waiting in line here to confirm next. And just you can X out in the corner there and be back to your main screen here. Now, as I said, when I have these two separate balances, I actually have the option to swap my on-chain funds onto the Lightning network as well. And you can do that with a little swap button off to the right. So when I tap that, it will say swap to Lightning, and it shows my available on-chain balance, and I can either do all of it or I can set a specific amount. All right, so when I hit the set amount, it will ask me how much I would like to swap. I had 100,000 sats, so I'm going to do the full amount there. I'm going to hit set amount, and it says, hey, this is how much I have. I'm going to be paying a fee of around 1,120 sats, and that would be my on-chain fee to do the transaction. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit confirm swap, and that now has initiated. They will be added to my Lightning balance. I can view the transaction if I want, and I can see it sitting here waiting to be confirmed as I did with the previous one. So I can X out of that, and I'll hit the nice button. I'm back here. And so I'm now seeing this listed in my activity as a channel opening. Okay, so you can see the swap logo or the swap symbol off to the side here. And again, I can tap there and I can see, hey, this is a channel open. It's unconfirmed. This was what my fee was. This is the balance, the reserve, all of that stuff. And again, viewing transaction will allow me to view it on the mempool.space website, and I can simply X out. And once that's confirmed, it will be fully added to my balance here up top. It's reflecting as such, but I believe that balance will not be available until that channel is open, if I'm not mistaken. So up next, we're going to take a look at what it is like to send a Lightning payment out of Mutiny Wallet. And again, I'm going to do this with my Phoenix wallet here. So I'm just in the midst of creating an invoice. So I'm going to make one for 10,000 sats. And now I've got a QR code here that I can scan. So in Mutiny, I'm going to hit send. And then I'm going to hit the scan button and then just scan what I have here on Phoenix. And this will give me a destination. I can add tags, whatever I like. And then I can hit confirm send. And that should shoot off momentarily. And there we go. I can see it received here in Phoenix and sent from my Mutiny wallet, balance now adjusted. Now, it is also worth noting that you can get directly to your scanning screen just in the very top by hitting the little square there. And you can also paste Lightning invoices. So we'll do an example of that as well. So I've sent over an invoice to myself via Telegram, and I've copied it into my clipboard. So now in here, I can just hit the paste button. It will allow me to paste in the information there. And it says, hey, this is for 5,000 sats. It shows my total available balance above. And if I hit confirm send, it should send off no problem. And I would also see the received payment here in Phoenix as well. Now, if you did want to pay on-chain to somebody and you had an on-chain balance, you can also send, and then you can either paste in a Bitcoin address or scan a regular Bitcoin QR code, and that will work just fine. Since we don't have an on-chain balance anymore and it's all Lightning, then it will just inform you that you don't have an available on-chain balance or enough on-chain to send. Now, I want to get into some of the cool features in and around NOSTR integration with Mutiny Wallet here. And so this allows you to go ahead and integrate your contacts on NOSTR as potential payees. How you do that is you go into settings here, you scroll down and you can say sync NOSTR contacts. And this allows you to add your NPub, which is kind of like your public identifier, how somebody would look you up on NOSTR. So I'll jump over. I have a NOSTR client open here. My NPub on my profile is just a copy link that I can click right there. And if I go back and I paste that in and hit sync, it will basically find all of my contacts and add them here within my Mutiny wallet. So when I go into view all down below, I can start to see, oh, look, there's a bunch of people that I follow here in NOSTR, and I can begin to send them payments. So let's just see a quick example of that. Well, there's American HodlHodl, and I can say, I'd like to pay him, and it automatically brings up his Lightning address that I can send to. I can set an amount. Maybe I'll say 1,000 sats. I'll set that, and then I'll hit confirm send. And I'll be able to pay directly to him. It should go off, and there we go. So I just sent 1,000 sats to one of my NOSTR contacts directly from within Mutiny Wallet, which is actually super cool. Now, there's another cool integration that you can do with Mutiny Wallet called NOSTR Wallet Connect. And what this does is it auto-approves zaps, aka sending sats to somebody because of a post that you saw or directly to their profile on NOSTR. And so it can auto pull payments from Mutiny, and you can set a budget for that. So to do that, you go to settings, you scroll down until you see wallet connections, and you hit add connection. You're now going to give it a name. So I use a client called Amethyst. So I'll just call it that. And I'm going to say, I want to auto approve any zaps that I send there. And then I need to set a budget. What am I okay with spending every single day? Maybe I'm okay with 10,000 sats a day. So I'll set that. And again, you can set the cadence as well. So this could be per day, per week, per month, per year, whatever it may be. I'll leave it per day for right now. So what this is going to do is it's going to bring up a connection code, and it's going to be in the form of QR code and a bunch of text. And what this will do is it will give the permission of this wallet to your NOSTR client to auto pull payments. Now, when I scroll down on the screen, I can see a tally of how much I've spent in a particular day and how much is left. I can also edit the budget. I can open this in a NOSTR client, and it actually also knows that I also have Primal, another NOSTR client, on this phone. And so I can go ahead and do that. I'm going to open it in the client, and it will autofill the information necessary to make this connection. So now when I've hit that button, it auto opens my Amethyst client, and it shows me down below Wallet Connect service, and it has filled in a whole bunch of information necessary to connect my wallet. So all I need to do now is hit save in the top right. Once I've hit save, it will bump me back to my main screen, my main feed, and I should be able to just quickly zap whatever post I see fit. So here's one that I like. So I can go and I can just simply tap, and it should auto zap this post for me directly from my wallet. So I can see the little zap, it gets colored in now. If I jump back to my NOSTR client, I can actually see I did a 50 sat zap, which is my default set within my NOSTR client. And that was sent out without me having to jump over to my wallet and then improve it. So I've now linked these wallets specifically on this device so that any time that I do a payment, out it comes directly from my Mutiny client. Now, one of the last things I want to cover is how to recover your Mutiny wallet if anything should go awry. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to wipe everything. I don't recommend you do this, but I do recommend you have your backup handy in case something happens. So I'm just going to go into settings. I'm going to go down to emergency kit, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to hit delete everything. Again, probably don't do this, but just as an example for you guys, I want to show how to recover. So again, this will delete your node state. This can't be undone. Confirm. Okay, so here I am back in Mutiny. Everything is wiped. So all recollection of, the state of my node and the funds and everything are gone. So this is what Mutiny Wallet will look like for you if you were to get on a new device and you were to try and recover, or whatever happened, you deleted everything, your browser history, it was all gone. So what do you do at this point? Well, it defaults to giving you a new wallet. But if you go to recover, it will delete this new wallet and recover the old one. So that's what we want to do. We're going to go to settings, and then there's an option that says restore. And we're going to go here. And this is where we paste in our existing, well, not paste in, probably type in, because you've written it on a physical item and not stored it digitally, right? But we're going to type in our words. So we're going to type in all the words, and then we're going to hit the restore button at the bottom. With everything typed in, I can hit the restore button. It says, are you sure you want to restore this wallet? Your existing wallet will be deleted. I'm going to hit confirm. And lo and behold, I am brought back to my Mutiny wallet with my funds intact, with my history intact, everything here, good to go. The only exception being, if I go here and I go to sync NOSTR contacts, that information is gone. So I would need to put in my npub again to get that information back. And I would need to do NOSTR Wallet Connect again. But once that was there, then I would be all set and ready to go. So one other thing I wanted to note before I finish up here in regards to if you want to get funds entirely out of Mutiny Wallet, obviously with Lightning channels, sometimes you're going to have a reserve there, and you won't be able to fully take everything out. So what you can do is if you go into your settings, you can see down at the bottom here, there's something that says admin page. When you go into the admin page, you're also going to see your channels if you scroll down a little bit. So you can see here I had a couple of them. And if you click on one of those channels, it gives you a menu where you can choose close channel. This will take those funds off of Lightning and just have them on chain, at which point you can send them out as a regular Bitcoin transaction and just sweep all of the funds. So just some final thoughts to wrap up here. Number one, I'm super happy with the direction that we see Lightning headed. And what I mean by that is I'm very glad to see teams like the Mutiny team focusing on trying to take a lot of the stuff that happens in the background and obfuscate it so that it just begins to work. A lot of people typically when they get their first Lightning wallets, they end up being custodial because those ones are very simple and you can get onboarded in a few seconds and be sending and receiving payments no problem. And it can be difficult to run your own Lightning node and manage channels and liquidity and all of that. With stuff like Mutiny, you can effectively hit a button, have a wallet that is accessible, and just with an inbound payment, have funds on the Lightning network more or less immediately. And I love to see that. Now, it's very early days, of course. And so using Mutiny, you're going to encounter perhaps some bugs here and there. You're going to maybe encounter some failed payments. You're going to find little quirks. That's to be expected this early in the game. However, I do think that things will get more and more streamlined and more reliable such that the trade-offs between custodial and non-custodial will become more and more blurred, and it will be easier to make the default decision to custody your own funds. Now, some of the things that I'm excited to see come down the pipeline from Mutiny. Now, I hear rumblings that they're looking at integrating some sort of coin join somewhere in the app, which I would love to see, and very curious to see what they do with that. Also, I would love to see some options about how the Lightning stuff works in the background. Like for the more advanced users, maybe some like having multiple Lightning channels, and maybe some would prefer just a singular channel using splicing. I'd also love to see options for sending out that would give you options, maybe a toggle switch to choose between splicing out or doing some sort of a swap so that you maintain the inbound liquidity. But yeah, I think a lot of that can be integrated later on, and I love what I'm seeing so far. And I think it's just a matter of time before we start getting a suite of awesome features in products like Mutiny. So hats off to you guys. Thanks for what you're building, and please do not stop because we need more of this. And I highly encourage you guys to go check it out if you have not already. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please do like, subscribe, share, all those things. They help a ton. That little like button is just down below there. Be sure to click it before you leave and share this to anybody you think may find it useful. If you want to help the show in another way, you can hit up the previously mentioned sponsors down below. Those were HodlHodl, CoinKite, Seedor, Nunchuk, and Start9. And if you really liked what you saw, head over to my website, btcsessions.ca. You'll find a ton of free information there. But if you need a little bit extra hand-holding, maybe some of the tutorials just aren't quite enough to get you through, and you need some one-on-one time, you can actually book me for one-on-ones there via Zoom, Google Meet, Keat, whatever you prefer. And that can be found again at my website, btcsessions.ca. With that, I am out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening, wherever you may be. See you guys next time for your daily session.
HodlHodl the Bitcoin.